All right. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today we're here to talk superheroes. So, three different formats. So, we have The Bad Batch, Jupiter's Legacy, and Tenet. We're going to talk about all three. So, today with me, I have the guru, the professor of all things Star Wars. David, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody. I hope you've had a wonderful day today. It's gorgeous weather in our nation's capital, and it's a perfect day to talk about heroes.
All right. And our wizard extraordinaire of all things Marvel superfan, Pat, tell the people, hey.
Hey, everybody. It was good in Kansas City also. It wasn't just in Washington, D.C. Nice day. Hope everybody got everything they wanted to get done. Saw some good stuff. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a jam-packed week of good stuff to watch. So why don't we start off with The Bad Batch?
With the Empire, I get paid, I get fed, and I have a roof over my head. That's more than the Republic ever did for me.
Conscripted recruits will never reach the same level of military proficiency. Our clones have been trained since their creation.
We need to see them in action.
By all means.
Send the clone and your recruits to Onderon. I want Saw Gerrera's camp found and wiped out.
Some kind of creature. About this big, with a long tail. It ran off with the pack. I'll go with you.
No, that thing could be dangerous.
I'm part of this squad now too, right?
It appears your squad is one trooper down.
Unfortunate, but soldiers know the risks of battle. Further proof that this initiative has potential.
It's worth noting the possibility that Crosshair's actions were influenced by his inhibitor chip.
So, it wasn't Crosshair's fault?
Ooh. Setting us up for something later, I'm sure. So why don't we have David, why don't you give us your take on it?
Well, in 3 episodes, if you hadn't already realized this with the Clone Wars cartoons that we've seen in the past, The Bad Batch reminds us this is not your typical Disney cartoon. This was a very dark, sobering episode. And as a Star Wars fan, I loved it. I think it's fascinating where they're going with talking about how the regular troops, the conscripted troops from the galaxy are going to be replacing the clones. We saw we talked about him last week, our new enemy, our new bad guy that was kind of Walmart gave the spoiler away with Admiral Rampart. This is a lot of fun, but there's a level of darkness with this. So, be ready for that. I thought it was fantastic. And I love the fact we're seeing more Grand Moff, well, not Grand Moff Tarkin yet. He's Admiral Tarkin. Hasn't got his promotion yet, so we'll see how all that shakes out. Just really a fun, good episode here as we learn to see Crosshair being as bad as he can be, and Omega and the group kind of coming together, building a family here like they haven't really been before. So a lot of fun today.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. But Pat, talk about what you thought of the episode.
Okay, well, a couple of things. I love it, first off, and I want to put that out in front of this. No, I really do. It's good. It's dark. It's kind of a theme of what we're doing this week, that, dark superhero type of thing. Here we have this bad batch of, of clone troopers, kind of going against their programming. And just as an aside, oh my God, I didn't realize that the Camino was actually in Australia, but apparently it is, because everybody is about to say crikey, and I'd like to go get me some Vegemite, the accents have gotten really Australian this last episode.
South Pacific accents for sure.
It really picked up on. I was like, okay, it's either Australia or New Zealand. I'm not sure where Camino is, but it's in one of those two island countries.
It's a little mix of both.
Oh man, I mean, it was almost a little distracting to me this time. I said, loved it overall, super great. I can kind of see where they're going to build some things. There was some foreshadowing, if everybody caught it, I don't know, with whatever the big super strong clone was. I can't remember his name, Crusher or whatever it was.
Wrecker.
Having the headaches and stuff, and I think they're kind of leading towards his chip is starting to either get starting to work better or something. We're going to have a crisis, I suspect, in the next couple episodes with that. That's my guess. I haven't seen anything, but I can see them kind of leading towards it. Because they just threw that out there for no reason and then just moved on past it. And I'm like, there's always a reason why everybody does everything in Disney stuff. There's always a reason. So I suspect
that's a good catch.
Yeah,
we're probably going to come back to that again, and there's going to be something coming out of it. And if it is, I can say, "Ha, called it," but we'll see. Or you guys can say, "God, Pat, you're totally wrong." It was brain cancer.
We'll say May 15th. Pat caught it.
All right.
Yeah, everybody mark your calendars.
Yeah, since this show is going, I think until August. I mean, we'll definitely be like 2 or 3 months out if something happens to poor Wrecker. But he's kind of the conscience of the show, right? So if they kill him off, that's just going to be bad, I think.
Well, it's definitely kind of a formula that it seems like Filoni does. Wrecker is the Zed from Rebels. They've imported him. He's the big, lovable, really strong, goofy kind of guy. Makes a lot of mistakes because he's not too smart. It's kind of almost a proto, a archetype for they seem to tend to want to use in there. So I don't know. We'll see. Love it though.
Yeah. I loved it. I don't know. I thought it was a good episode. But I felt like it was kind of a filler episode, but I did like that there were some hints of dark things to come. And I'm still trying to figure out Omega. What's up with her? I mean, is she like highly adaptive? So she sees something once and she can then do it? Or is she woo-woo people? Or I don't know.
What was that again? One more time. What was that again?
Woo-woo.
Woo. Okay, got that.
How about that?
We were kung fu fighting.
Oh no,
woo,
not
woo.
again.
Not me singing. Uh-oh.
No, please. And so, but I also thought, I'm 100% with the Kaminoans.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, let's try that.
The spaghetti neck people. I just love their voices and I love everything about them. And I can't wait to see if they are, and maybe you all know from Clone Wars or from Rebels or something, that the Kaminoans are an ally to the Jedi, or are they enemy, or are they just kind of neutral? That's what I want to know.
I'd say they're more neutral. They're business people.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is just it's just a transaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought Crosshair is an asshole, and I don't want him to come to a good end at all.
Sometimes you gotta shoot it hostage. I don't understand what the problem was.
I really don't like that saying. I really think that is terrible. I just don't like it at all. It's a very brutal, and it was really, really sickening what he did. And so I was kind of shocked that Disney and Star Wars has this kind of stuff going on in it. I was like, oh, they done come, far from back in the day. So, but I'm always confused about the timeline. This is before Clone Wars, but after.
No.
This is between Revenge of the Sith and when the Star Wars Rebels cartoon.
Rebels, yes.
So it's that time frame. So we're what about at this point? We're probably we're 20 years, 18 to 20 years away from A New Hope.
I was going to say because
A New Hope or Force Awakens.
No, A New Hope. Because if you think about one of the last couple episodes of Rebels, you have a appearance by old Kenobi, and Luke Skywalker's maybe like 5 or 6, and they see him running, and come on in, Luke, So we're in that time period because this happened before that sort of stuff.
Right.
But Order 66 was during Attack of the Clones movie.
Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. One of the issues, and on a time frame and length, has been questioned since Luke went to Dagobah and worked with Yoda, and Han and Leia went to Bespin. But there was a lot that happened between the start of Revenge of the Sith and the end of it, because Lucas realized I really squandered about 6 years that I could have put in depth in this. And so things are going boom, 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 very fast paced. But here, the Jedi have fallen and the clones are getting kind of replaced. Now, where we are in terms of the time frame since the Bad Batch have become renegades, that could be weeks or months since the end of Revenge of the Sith. I'm not quite sure. But it's in that time where it's weeks or months since Revenge of the Sith ended, I would say.
Because episode 1, you see Order 66 getting carried out and Kanan running off. Yeah.
And see, that's the thing is, I think they need, for those of us who haven't looked at all the way through Clone Wars or haven't looked at Rebels, it gets a little confusing about what the time frame is. So we'll know, okay, looking forward to this and that and that. So not having that background is just kind of like So but I thought it was an okay episode. It wasn't like a super like wonderful one, but it certainly how many times are they gonna have like animals eating energy or attacking the ship or something?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I guess
it started in The Empire Strikes Back. With the Minox chewing on the cables. It's a thing. It happens apparently in the Star Wars universe quite a bit. And what you said was absolutely true. I think, Pam, it's kind of a filler episode. Much like in The Mandalorian, where they had the episode where he was stuck in the ice cave and Baby Yoda is eating the offspring. But it was just kind of a filler, but it did build towards other things.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that this episode is going to be very similar to that.
Yeah. So I give it like a B. I mean, we got a long bunch of more episodes, probably.
Can't wait.
15, 20 more episodes. So
that's awesome. Bring it on.
It ought to come through because I am interested to see because I did like the nature of them the kind of political part about them using like soldiers versus clones. And then what's that going to mean for the clones once they are able to either create an army with willing people or start taking people and forcing them into being soldiers. So and they do that, forcing children into servitude all the way till the last Skywalker. So that then is just a part of, I think, the universe then becomes like that. So I think this is kind of a nice introduction to understanding all of that. So I look forward to seeing it, but decent episode. It'll kind of fill in, I think, later on. There'll be some good stuff, but they better not kill off Wrecker. That's going to irritate me because, but here's another thing I noticed. These dudes do not know what to do with the kid. I mean, can you imagine telling your mom or your parents that, oh yeah, I want to go and jump off a building? I'm one of the family now, right? I can go and jump off the building with the rest of you. No. They are just spoiling this girl. I was like, do what our parents told us. Oh, yeah? Well, if everybody wanted to do something, then they would do it. So, no, you can't go. Stay there, sit down, and be quiet somewhere. So, but I did think it was cute. They made her own little space, and giving her time to steal with the little doll, that Wrecker's little doll. I was like, he let go of his little animal. He was slamming things around trying to find. I thought that was really cute. So it ended on a very cute note, very Disney cute note in the middle of, it's kind of like a marshmallow, and then they burn the marshmallow and they have to like pick all the burnt parts off the marshmallow because this was a really dark one. So we'll see where it goes from there. So next up, let's look at the newest in the superhero drama, Jupiter's Legacy. Let's take a look at that.
Don't you remember the island? And what we had to do to earn these powers?
90 years. 90 years, and what do we have to show for it?
We've made a difference, Shell.
What was Dad like when he was younger?
Nothing ever rattled him faster.
The man I knew was never at home when I was a kid. Too busy saving the world.
Brandon, Chloe, everything you do is a reflection on this family. You have to be the ideal.
No one can live up to the ideal. Not even Dad.
They're not even close to being ready. And I'm doing everything I can to keep this family from falling apart.
Well, it's not working.
It used to be that you protect your country. They call you a hero.
The world is changing. So I guess we're gonna have to change with it.
I don't know whether I can do this anymore. You do the right thing, somebody dies. You do the wrong thing, somebody dies.
So what would you do if you were the one calling the shots?
All right. So Pat, you want to talk about what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I just finished episode 4 last night, so I got a little bit further to go, and I know there's gonna be spoilers and all. It's no big deal. I'll move past. I do like the overall look of it. I am a little, I don't know, put off sometimes by so much. Recent has been like so much bad superheroes, like superhero. And I understand we want to show the human sides, the struggles that these people go through, but. I just want to see a movie where they're just, superheroes being good, and making, fighting a bad guy, a good black and white choice. I know that the world is not black and white. I know it's all grays. But that being said, I enjoyed it. I do like the way it looks. Josh Duhamel, I think is his.
I think so. Duhamel?
I don't have. Yes, the lead, Utopia, was very. I think he's really good in this. I mean. It kind of pulls off the brooding, kind of crazy, don't know what to do kind of thing really well. And the daughter was intriguing also, up to the point where I've gotten. She's, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how it ends because I ain't seen it yet. But you guys can talk about that. I'll figure it out. I know you're going to. I can tell Pam, look at her.
Well, it has been 2 weeks, so I think we can talk about it fully.
No, you need to. Yeah, I'll catch up. I'm just doing other stuff.
Yeah. David, you want to talk about what you thought?
Yeah.
And I'll talk about what I thought.
Well, and I want to take a little bit of what Patrick said, because I think there was an element of that for me too. It was, we're seeing the feet of clay so much with these heroes, and Batman is kind of a brooding guy and all and all, but there is a level of this. It's that at some point the next group of superheroes who does something like this, where they're in analysis, they're going to jump the shark, the proverbial shark, as opposed to sending someone into shark-infested waters, which was an awesome way to get the bad guy. I'm liking it. I think the cast has done an outstanding job. You go back and forth between the story, their origin story, and then where they are today, or in current times. I like the origin story much better. I like that time frame. I think it's awesome seeing them get on a boat, almost like King Kong style, or Indiana Jones on one of those great adventures, which there was a level of that kind of romance still in the world at that time, in between the wars. So that was my favorite part, was the old story that they would kind of segue back to. But it's a fun show. Cast does a great job. I am intrigued to see, where this goes, and I'm assuming we'll see some more seasons as we go forward. But a fun summer watch.
Okay, so I would give it a solid B-. I just think there was a lot it needed to do. I'm like, this is the guy who did Kingsman, who's one of my all-time favorite kind of super spy kind of little different take on that genre. I really love that. And this just was kind of like, this is a superhero version. It was family drama with some capes. And I was like, come on now. This is too much family drama. Now, it's based on a comic called Jupiter's Legacy, but it's also combines another version of that comic called Jupiter's Circle. So they've combined two of the comics, and that's partly why you see the old version and the new version, the past and the present. But I don't think that they really got that right. I thought the going in between each time, you kind of didn't get enough of either. So I'm trying to figure out, how I understand how the Six, how their children are superheroes, right? I don't understand how there's all these other people out there who are superheroes. They just kind of dropped the ball on that. And I was thinking, well, maybe once they got theirs and those rays went out, maybe it hit the people on the boat and then they went out, or it hit the world. And then, so I was very confused then about how all these villains started popping up, all these people with superhero powers. And I was like, that don't make sense. And it's because I think they tried to combine too much. And I think if they use this season to talk about the origin story, and because Sky Fox just poof, George Hutchins just poof, he just poofed out of the story, and you really don't get the explanation as to what happened to make Sky Fox leave them. But in the comics, it tells you why. And so you get a sense of it real quickly. And it does make sense. I haven't read all of the comics yet, but I'm on the second volume, which you can get on Hoopla at your public library or on the Hoopla app. But I also, one thing that kind of bothered me was how they're dealing with race, and how they gonna ask a black man to get on a boat and go somewhere with a bunch of white people. I was like, huh? Say what now? I was like, that didn't work out so well for us before. So about it, and I don't like that in this day and age. They had a couple of little throw out things, but I thought, that's interesting. And the doctor character, you don't know what happened to him either. So, one of the original 6 who had the staff, the power rod, as he ended up calling it, you don't know what happened to him. And when it came to the kids, they just kind of dropped poor Paragon. He was out in the first episode, made a mistake. Then you don't see him again until like the last couple of episodes or something. So it was like, wait a minute, isn't he like the one of the main characters? So I just thought, I was like, yeah, there needs to be some story kind of fine tuning that. But now, did it look beautiful? Yes. The part where they got their powers and how that all looked, perfection. And when they're flying in for the first time to the boat, and all 6 of them are, spread out in that V formation, beautiful. I mean, I was like, yay, this is so exciting. And then the story, I was like, oh shit, story. But they only, to me, really had one really good fight scene, and that's later on with Raikou. I think that's her name, Raikou, Walt's daughter. And that fight scene was everything. I was like, y'all should have just introduced her at the beginning and had her, because she was a very interesting character. And so with Chloe and Hutch, Chloe is the daughter of the Utopian, Josh Duhamel, and Hutch is the son of George Hutchins, the Josh Duhamel, Sheldon and Walt's friend. They're kind of best friend. And so, but you don't know who Hutch's mom is, and it's clearly somebody who is a person of color, as Golden Boy as George Hutchins is, or is it the dude who had the power rod? See, I don't know. See, it's very confusing. So I think that when you get to the end, there were several hints about it along the way. But I thought even that wasn't original. Like how they did the Kingsman and Samuel L. Jackson's character, and how he was like, this isn't your normal spy movie kind of thing. You were kind of like pleasantly surprised by it. But this one, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I get it. I see it. So I was kind of hoping they would do something a little different, but according to the books, the comics, and the seems like the direction they're going, they're making parallels with today. And I you guys tell me what you think, because the notion of the world's messed up and we need one person to kind of come in and solve the problem. I don't know about that. What do you all think about that?
Well, I think that the Utopia has the right idea, and I mean, clearly we see the challenges of trying to save the world, and he saved the world in an episode, by the way. They wouldn't even realize that it was going on. He left. He was gone a little long, having to move that comet. But his whole approach to trying to let people be, to not try and exert too much control, don't kill. He has these great powers. He says not to kill.
Right.
I think his head is in the right direction. His heart's in the right direction. So I think from that perspective, but the world, though, and we've seen this in elections of lately, not to get too political, but there are times people yearn for a strong man. When people are desperate, when they are hungry, when they are scared, they want someone to come and give them the easy answer. It's not your fault, it's their fault.
Right.
And stand with me, and I will bring you back to a glory that you know, that you remember, or wish you had. And so his whole approach, he's noble. He's got his flaws, and he couldn't be everything to everyone. He's showing his limits even with his power, but his heart's in the right place. Stay away from trying to be the strong man and to impose your will on others too much.
And I think it does a good job in casting those two ideals of not getting involved in politics because, clearly then might make right, and then the other side is, hey, the bad guys are winning and the bad guys are doing whatever. And we just got to still stick to, this playbook, and so, you kind of got some political parallels there too, and kind of what's going on in the debates. But this is all over the world. This is happening. So, so I thought that was an interesting take on this, but I just think that the way, if they had done this just as a present day superhero, that part, and carried it 8 episodes to do the modern day, I thought that would have been super effective. Or if they just did the past, and then next season we got, okay, here's where we are now, worlds in Christ, and then I think you could dig deeper into the motivations and what's all going on and stuff like that. So, but spoiler alert. One of the people is not who you think they are. It's a cold-blooded plan now. I do have to agree that the bad guy's plan is pretty cold-blooded. But if you pay attention, you'll be able to see what's coming up. So I didn't want to just give it away too much, but the person who is doing it is a great actor. I mean, I don't think I've seen him in anything, but it's really interesting. But it but still a short shift. So, take a look at it. It's the first episode, I have to be honest, I was kind of turned off by it because I was like, you know what? Like you, I'm sick of seeing them deconstruct superheroes and make them all, dark and crybabies and, all this stuff. Sometimes you just want, you want a Snicker to taste like a Snicker. You don't want it to taste like something. I want my superheroes to be good and upright and moral and kind and decent people, and you don't get that the first episode. And it makes sense by the end of the episode, in the series, you'll understand what happened in the first one. But I did have to kind of choke it back and just watch it and keep up with it and watch it. So if you stick with it, it has a good payoff. But it just could have been better. I think Netflix has gotta, swipe somebody from Disney who has this experience in a long range, or Marvel, who have a long range, view of storytelling and can get through, 6 seasons or whatever it's going to take. So definitely watch it.
Oh, yeah.
You might not let the little kids watch it. It's got some gore, and it's got some sex, and it's got a lot of drug use. I didn't like that either. I didn't like that at all. So, but other than, I guess if you're watching Gossip Girl or Scandal or some of that other stuff, yes, you'll see all that too. So, check it out. It's interesting. It's definitely something for the summer you can have fun with. So, Dwayne DeMarcos, hey Dwayne, and he brought up an interesting point about the perspective. So when it was passed, it went to full screen. And then when it was a present, it went to letterbox. I mean, it was a little subtle, kind of hint of the change, but that was pretty cool. I thought that was a cool kind of aspect of it. But I kind of thought too, why are these people still wearing capes in 2002?
Just everybody got to remember the Incredibles and Edna, no capes.
No capes. But yeah, go check out Jupiter's Legacy and let us know what you think. Okay. All right, now to the most confusing and interesting story.
Yeah.
By what's his name?
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan with John David Washington starring in Tenet. Let's show a clip from Tenet.
We all believe we'd run into the burning building. But until we feel that heat, we can never know. You do. You chose to die instead of giving up your colleagues. That test you passed? Not everybody does. Welcome to the afterlife.
To do what I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
Nuclear holocaust.
No. Something worse.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too.
You have to start looking at the world in a new way.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
Wow.
Going for faces, Okay, I'll go first. Now,
Okay.
I have watched this 4 times at least.
Okay.
I'm still confused, which is why I don't like time travel. This movie is expressly why I don't like time travel.
Oh, now hold on.
This is confusing.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's not try to say I'm crazy because this is confusing.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't get better with it gets a little bit better with each viewing. But
Yeah.
that's why I remember last week I said you have to at least watch it twice because you're not going to understand it just watching it once. You have to watch it multiple times. And did I enjoy the acting? Yes, I love Kenneth Branagh. Oh, I love
What a good
Kenneth
bad guy.
Branagh.
What a good bad guy.
I mean, he's amazing. At the first, when I first watched it, I didn't recognize him the very first time I saw it. He was he looked so different from normal, and his accent was so right on, but just physically he looked different. And him as a villain is always great. The I forget her name, but she played in Guardian of the Galaxy 2 as the queen of the golden people, the perfection people. You know what I'm talking
That was
about.
her.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh,
That's her.
okay. All right.
And I really loved her in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. She was Ventiquetta, I think Ventiquetta, and she was just a delicious villainess in that. So I love her act. She was also in Widows, and she's fantastic. And John David Washington is he's good. I think that I think I would have liked to see Jamie Foxx in this role, or Idris Elba, I think, in this role. It's big, and I don't know if he's there. I think 20 years ago his father could have been in this movie and it would have been incredible. So I'm kind of a little on him as this action star, and he doesn't have a name. If you look at the credits, he's the protagonist. And so I thought that was interesting. But the story is, I guess, people from the future learn how to manipulate time, and so one man is able to control destiny and do things in time, and then other people figure it out, and they build all these machines to help them figure it out. And so, but the lesson is that whatever has happened has already happened, and really they're just trying to understand it. But wasn't that the I remember another movie kind of had that same thing. You're just trying to understand your choice. So but I love Christopher Nolan. I love everything. Everything else he's done. I've seen it multiple times. I don't know about this one. So somebody else help me out.
The thing is, Christopher Nolan, I mean, I do love a Christopher Nolan film. I really just love the way he shoots films. I love the way he puts stories together. He might have overreached a little bit on this one. Yeah. I mean, Interstellar had some interesting time travel aspects due to relativity and what have you. Some cool things there, but it was kind of, you could wrap your head around it. Man, you was not kidding about you need to watch this multiple times. And even then you're still not 100% clear on what you come out of this. And man, good on him for being able to get a studio to sign off on this script and the special effects. I mean, the special effects were amazing. All the backwards running stuff and things. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was a visual treat, but man, it was pure Christopher Nolan. As far as the staging, the shooting, just the composition of the shots and stuff was really nice, and I do love that. But man, it was rough, and I wanted it to be a little challenging, but this was like like someone who just got done with 7th grade algebra, and all of a sudden they want you to do college trig. That kind of a leap in between what you are watching and what you're prepared to grasp and make sense of, and it was a bit of an overreach, and I'm sure it will go down as a great movie and will be lauded for many years, but it was rough. It was rough to watch the first couple times.
It was the most confusing movie that I think I liked.
Yeah, there you go.
There's things in it I like. I like the performances. I like the action, but the I mean, this was like time travel in Overdrive. So, I mean, this was really, this was like when Bill and Ted kept running into each other, but it's like on a continuum.
Only worse.
Really challenging in this. I mean, but I think the cast was fantastic. Kenneth Branagh has a better Russian accent than he has an English accent. And he's English. And I mean, Pravda. I mean, he's очень мал. That's very bad for you folks that pick.
Yeah, that was
heard your Russian. It's neat. It's a neat film. I kept thinking that the guy from Twilight was the little boy.
Robert Pattinson, yeah.
I think he's the little boy. I think there's like a time loop thing here. If they do more, I think he's the little kid where the guy was trying to save his mom. If I had to pick anything.
Yeah.
You need to. I watched it 1.5 times, and it was just barely starting to make some level of sense.
Yeah. Well, and it's her name, the wife's name, I think it's Elizabeth Debicki. I think that's her name. Yeah. And Dwayne DeMarco says that yes, that was from The Matrix, when the Oracle said to Neo that you already made the choice. You're here to understand it. So maybe this is kind of Christopher Nolan's, Matrix-y kind of movie when you think about it like that. And Dwayne says that if you knew you would do something, if you could look into the future and see your choices, would you still do them? And there's a lot of choices that I would not make again. But like the movie, every choice you make gets you to where you are. So if you see, that's why I don't like. See. This is why I don't like.
Well, you just, the thing is, if you want to just, okay, we're watching a show about time travel, watching a show about superheroes, watching a show about Jedi. There's a suspension of disbelief, and the thing is with the time travel things, you have to have the I guess an understanding about the idea of divergent timelines, which they do kind of hint at in was the Endgame with in the Marvel movies, when it's like when the Ancient One's talking about Bruce Banner / the Hulk about, well, if you do this and the timeline goes over here, but well, what if we come back and put it in? You got to wonder, are you in the right timeline? Are you in one that was a different one? There's multiple different things going on. Perhaps people in different timelines made different choices. It's just, make your face all you want. You've been making that face all through Loki, just FYI, because it's going to be all about time travel.
I sure ain't. Only thing that's saving that is I love, what is his name? Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston, yeah. Hiddleston.
Yeah, him. Hiddleston with his fine ass. So that's going to keep me. Look, a good-looking dude will keep me interested for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But Tenet, but now I feel like they better make another one to make sense of the first one. So hopefully it'll be a trilogy. Hopefully he's got enough clout and enough money.
Well, why does it have to be 3 movies? Why is it this
2 movies
aspect? I think that's, of course, Star Wars is now like, 12, not even counting the comics. But I don't understand why it has to be a trilogy. One movie might be able to make it. Maybe they need 4. I don't understand the whole, because a lot of them do trilogies now because of, Star Wars, Empire, Jedi. I don't know why there's this feeling like Austin Powers did 3.
3's a magic number. Don't you remember Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah. 3's the magic number. That's why.
I remember on the world, Liberty, and the bill. I love the How to Make a Bill song.
Yeah.
That was classic.
If you really want to figure out where this love affair with trilogy started, and you go no further than Tolkien. He wrote 3 books, and that was the beginning of the modern trilogy. And from that point on, well, it's still an incredibly high-selling book, and it set the whole. It set the game plan for how to make a multi-book series.
Yeah, and I think they can do an arc that, but if they follow the Star Wars model, which was good story, then sad story, and then redemption story.
It's a hero's journey. That he was a big fan of.
But with Tenet, you just ultimately, I didn't care about any of them. I mean, maybe Kenneth Branagh, I kind of was hoping that him and the wife would she would have that moment with him, and it would. I'm just a romantic, and that would change
He beat
him.
her with his belt. That is not going to go well.
Oh, I forgot about
beat
that.
someone with a belt,
I
man.
don't know.
She tried to throw him off the catamaran. I mean, come on.
Okay, I forgot about that part. So, but that was that before or after that scene? I don't know. I see how it's confusing. And
that's a good point.
So,
Who knows?
I know.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
Back and be people and be like, you said that she should have stayed with her abuser. But okay, it's so many timelines and stuff that happened in this thing, you can't keep up with it. So, but at the end, I would still tell people to watch Tenet. But like I say, you got to at least watch it a couple times, 3 times. It starts to kind of make sense.
Yeah.
So, but
maybe drink while you're doing it. It might help. I don't know.
Say that again.
Maybe you should drink while you're doing it too. It might help. I don't know.
Oh no, I had to drink while I was, and then it was super confusing. Don't do that to yourself.
I'm kidding.
Funny.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about stuff for a long time. So why don't we wrap it up? We had a whole superhero set. Next week, we are watching, of course, The Bad Batch, and then the new Angelina Jolie suspense kind of action movie, Those Who Wish Me Dead. We're going to watch next week. So get ready. It's going to be fun. Pat, won't you say goodbye to the people and any other things you wish to say at the end here?
Also, I'll just say goodbye to everybody, and I'll just say time travel is not always bad.
That's right. Well, and I will say, if you do know how to time travel, then you've already heard my goodbye. So I won't have to repeat myself. Everybody be safe. Have a good time. Enjoy The Bad Batch.
And I would say, like we say every week, wash your hands, wear a mask, still social distance, and follow the CDC guidelines. Get a vaccine. I mean, we're almost there, people. We're almost there. And if we can get everybody at least one vaccine, we can all be together again. And also, Black Lives Still Matter. And we will see you next week on PJamma Life. Take care. Bye.